Do you want to discover the game that 7 million players love in Japan and the USA? Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire, the new Pokémon games for Game Boy Advance, will arrive in the UK on Friday the 25th of July. The Pokémon madness started in Japan in 1996 with the original Pokémon for the black and white classic Game Boy. Since then, more than 20 Pokémon games have been launched for the Nintendo consoles. But Pokémon is much more. TV animated series, films, toys, trading cards, costumes, food, and even drinks. The Pokémon madness spread quickly all around the planet, and it's back with Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire. Forget Johto and Kanto. From July 25th, you can enjoy the new Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire for Game Boy Advance that takes place in an all-new region known as Hoenn. When the game starts, you'll meet Professor Birch, and you'll get to decide whether you're going to be a boy or a girl Pokémon trainer. You'll also choose your name. Whichever you choose, the storyline will be the same, and your goal is to become the world's greatest Pokémon trainer. The storyline starts with your family's move from Johto to Hoenn, to their new home at Little Root Town. Then your quest to be the greatest Pokémon trainer will start. Your neighbours are the family of the renowned Pokémon expert Professor Birch. Your rival to be the best Pokémon trainer will be the Professor's children. If you choose to be a boy at the start of the game, you'll face Amy, and if you choose a girl, your rival will be Brendan. After you've met them, your first mission will be to find the Professor, who's doing some field study on the Pokémon habitat. Let's hurry, because he needs your help as he is attacked by a wild Pokémon. Besides, you'll get your first Pokémon too. You can choose between Trico, Torchic or Mudkip. During your quest you will find many trials, including fierce battles to catch wild Pokémon or battles with other trainers. If you want to earn respect as a Pokémon trainer, you must prove yourself against the gym leaders in the many cities scattered over Hoenn. There you'll get gym badges to prove that you are the best. This time you must forget Team Rocket, as your enemies will change. In Pokémon Ruby version you will face Team Magma and their leader Maxie, who drives a plot to increase the planet's landmass to keep her people happy. However, if your game is Pokémon Sapphire, your rivals will be Team Aqua, whose leader Archie wants to raise sea levels to get more water Pokémon. Anyway, that's not all, because Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire will offer a lot of surprises, as you will see in the new features section included on this CD. What are Pokémon? Pokémon are unique creatures that come in many different shapes and sizes. Each Pokémon specialises in one or two types of elemental abilities, such as fire, water or rock, which it uses in the battle. Pokémon also develop their own personalities, likes and dislikes, just like humans do. Pokémon trainers gather Pokémon from the wild and train them to battle each other and to improve their skills. The region of Hoenn is home to dozens of Pokémon you've never seen before, along with some returning favourites as well. To collect them all, you'll need to explore every place of the Hoenn's map, as well as trading Pokémon with your friends using a link cable, because some Pokémon only appear in Pokémon Ruby, whilst others can only be found in Pokémon Sapphire. At the beginning of the game, you'll get to choose one of 3 new Pokémon to start your collection. Treecko, a grass-type Pokémon. Torchic, a fire-type Pokémon. And Mudkip, a water-type Pokémon. On July 25th, you'll see more new Pokémon, like Poochyena, Zigzazoon, Wurmple, Lotad, Pelissar, Vigoroth, Sableye, Aeron, Sharpedo, Kessleon or Duskull, among others. Pokémon grow and evolve in many different ways. When Pokémon travel with a Pokémon trainer, they gain experience from battling wild Pokémon and other trainers. Pokémon can also gain experience at the Pokémon daycare. They also grow stronger by holding items. You can also teach them new attacks and abilities, thanks to the TM and HM power-ups that you will get during the adventure. Every Pokémon can learn 4 different attacks or abilities. Wild Pokémon live in their natural habitat. In open spaces, they usually hide in the high grass, but in closed spaces like caves, a Pokémon could appear at any moment, so you must be prepared. In some cases, you will need items to get them out, like using a fishing rod to catch water Pokémon. To catch the Pokémon, you will use a Pokéball. There are lots of types of Pokéballs, so you must experiment with different kinds of Pokémon and Pokéballs to choose the best one. If you catch a Pokémon, or another trainer uses it in combat against yours, their data will be added to the Pokédex. The Pokédex is any Pokémon trainer's most valuable tool, because it's packed with detailed information on Hoenn's Pokémon, including physical statistics, information on where each Pokémon is located, a sample of each Pokémon's cry, and, if you captured them, you can compare their sizes. If you want to complete your Pokédex, you must get your Pokémon to evolve, by gaining experience or with an item. You must also trade Pokémon with your friends with a link cable, because some Pokémon just evolve when they're traded. Some Pokémon just appear in the Ruby version, and some just in a Sapphire version, so you must trade your Pokémon with your friends. What's better than collecting and training a Pokémon team? Well, getting them into battle. Pokémon Ruby and Pokémon Sapphire feature some new ways to do battle. During the quest you will face wild Pokémon that you can collect and add to your Pokédex, and the other Pokémon trainers will ask you to fight when they see you. You can only have 6 Pokémon in your team, and usually you will battle in the classic mode of 1 versus 1. One of your Pokémon will fight against one of the rivals' Pokémon. The winner will be the one that defeats every Pokémon of the rival's team. When you fight against another Pokémon, you must carefully note its power and weaknesses, as well as its natural habitat. For example, you could find fire-type Pokémon near volcanoes or magma. They are good with fire abilities, but they are weak against water moves. If you know the type of your rival's Pokémon, The best strategy will generally to use a Pokémon of the opposite type. The main innovation in the battles in Ruby and Sapphire is the new 2-on-2 battle system. Now you can use 2 Pokémon at the same time when you find Pokémon trainer couples all around Hoenn. This system allows you to take part in multiplayer battles in the Colosseum with up to 4 players, which means you can play against 3 of your friends. During your journey all around Hoenn, you'll find many different buildings that will affect your quest. When you advance in the game, take care to visit all the places and to speak to everybody, since you will obtain very useful information. One of the most important buildings that you will always find in all of the towns and cities are the Pokémon Centres, where you will be able to cure your Pokémon, not only if they lack energy, but also if they've fainted. In addition, you will recover power points for the attacks, and you will always have a PC at your disposal to organise your Pokémon and your items. In the first floor of the Pokémon Centres, you will be able to have access to the game's multiplayer options. Another place where somebody will take care of your Pokémon is the Daycare Centre, where you can leave 2 of your Pokémon and they will grow their level. If you leave 2 Pokémon of compatible races, it's possible that when you return they will have made an egg. Throughout Hoenn, you will find many stores where you'll be able to buy items like potions, antidotes or Pokeballs. Most of the stores have a selection of varied objects, and in the big cities you will find big malls of several floors where you will be able to obtain everything that you can think of, like dolls and decorations for your home. If you don't want to have all your special items at home, when you obtain certain abilities, you can create a secret hideout in the most peculiar places. Another place that you need to visit during your adventure are the gymnasiums that you will find in several of the different cities that comprise Hoenn, and where you will obtain gym badges that will demonstrate that you are the best Pokémon trainer in the world. The other great surprise of Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire are the Pokémon Contest Halls, a series of special events where your Pokémon will be able to demonstrate that they are the best. If you played before with previous red, blue, yellow, gold, silver or crystal versions of Pokémon, you'll see that Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire offer a great amount of new features, and I'm not only talking about technical improvement, thanks to the greater power of Game Boy Advance. Hoenn is a completely new world, with a novel history, where you'll find new challenges and trainers, as well as many surprises. A first example of the change is the remarkable improvement in graphical detail. Now you will be able to see how the characters are reflected in the water, how their footsteps are marked in the sand of beaches, how the ash of a volcano falls, or how a cave is covered by fog. The same is true of the soundtrack, which takes advantage of the powerful sound chipset of the Game Boy Advance console. Another thing that's different is the travelling around Hoenn. In the beginning, you'll be on foot, and later you will ride a bicycle just as in the other versions of the game. But in Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire, you can ride two very different bicycles, each one with a different function. The Mac bicycle is very fast, and it will allow you to raise ramps and prevent you from falling into zones of fragile ground. And the Acro bicycle allows you to do acrobatics and to jump between platforms. The transportation doesn't stop here. You'll find boats and cableways amongst others, and in addition you will be able to use flight to return to places that you have already visited once you have obtained this ability. One of the main new features of Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire is the battle system of 2 against 2. Now it's possible to use 2 Pokémon at the same time when you encounter a couple of Pokémon trainers throughout Hoenn. As each Pokémon has its own characteristics of force and weaknesses, having 2 Pokémon fighting simultaneously changes the strategy that you need to use in battles, adding more fun. Thus, you'll have to consider that some of the opposite movements and attacks may just affect one of the Pokémon foes, whereas others, such as Surf, will affect both enemies at the same time. You must select the order of your Pokémon so that you start with a pair of Pokémon which complement each other perfectly. In addition, in Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire, one of the most enjoyable aspects of the original game is extended. Now you can battle simultaneously against the Pokémon of 3 of your friends just by connecting your Game Boy Advance to their consoles with a link cable. On the first floor of all Pokémon centres, you will find a counter that leads you to the multiplayer battles. Most veteran Pokémon players will remember the Colosseums of previous editions. Now though, they've been improved, since there are 3 different modes. In normal battle, 2 trainers will combat with 1 Pokémon each time. In 2 vs 2 battle, they'll fight with couples of Pokémon against 1 player. The last mode is the multi-battle, where 4 players will fight in pairs. Each trainer handles one of the Pokémon that appears in combat. You will be able to see that certain functionalities have changed. In the case of the bag, which we'll use to take your items with you in the journey, it's been divided into 5 different pockets. In one of them you can take items of common use like potions or antidotes. In another one you will keep Pokeball of all kinds, whilst in another pocket you will keep the TM and the HM power-ups. In the other 2 sections you will keep the berries and the key items. Talking of berries, you'll find these hanging on a series of plants that you will be able to gather throughout all Hoenn. These berries have many uses. They allow you to recover energy, or cure a Pokémon when they've been poisoned. There's an important detail to take into consideration here. The berries do not grow alone. That's the reason why you will have to plant them again if you want them to grow again. If you add water to them with a special watering can, they will grow even faster. These berries also take a lot of importance in another one of the great new features of these 2 versions, since with them you will be able to create Pokéblock sweets that improve the statistics of your Pokémon. In order to create these sweets, which are obtained from the berries, you will have to go to the Pokémon contest halls and use the specially designed machines that you will find in reception. These machines can be handled by up to 4 trainers to create the Pokéblock sweets, but they need a minimum of 2 users to work. So you will be able to use them with characters in your own game, or you'll have to connect with 3 friends using the link cable. When the machine begins to turn, you will have to press the A button at the correct moment to accelerate the rotor, increasing therefore the quality of the Pokeblock. When the machine stops, each user or player obtains a Pokeblock. Now you will not only have to train your Pokemon in combat, but you'll also have to watch which Pokeblocks to give to them. Each Pokemon has its own tastes and their own temperament, and this is part of the other great surprise in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, the Pokemon contests. In these special events, your Pokemon will be able to demonstrate that they are the best, within 5 different categories with 4 different competitions that you will find in different cities. It's a bit like Crufts. You will only be able to participate in a superior competition if you won in the previous ones. The public will judge the skill of your Pokemon, and you must excite them by choosing a suitable attack that's better than the one that your rivals are showing. The Pokemon that gets the most applause from the audience will be the winner. In order to help your Pokemon to victory, you must give them a new Pokeblock so they will improve their stats, gaining points when they face the public. Once you win these contests, you will obtain medals called ribbons, each one corresponding to the category in which you took part. During the adventure, you will be able to buy dolls, posters and decorations for your home. If you don't want to have all your items in your room, when you obtain certain abilities you can create a secret hideout in the most peculiar of places. In this way, you will find an important novelty in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, since you can share your secret hideout with your friends, connecting the Game Boy Advance with a link cable in the corner record. When you have connected yourself, you will be able to see the bases of all your friends in your own cartridge. Ruby and Sapphire features a new function for your Pokédex. This new element of the device is called a Pokemon Navigator, Pokenav for short. Now, you don't start with a Pokenav, but once you get it, you'll find it invaluable. It includes a great map, so you'll never get lost in Hoenn again. It's got info about the cities, hideouts and other key places. You can also use it to check the condition of your prized Pokemon, helping you to choose the best one to enter into Pokemon contests. You can find out what ribbons you've collected and which Pokemon trainers you've already faced. More importantly, you can find which Pokemon trainers you've yet to face, and you'll even know where they are. Remember, everything that you've seen here is available, and much more, from game on Friday the 25th of July. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.